Hi there and welcome back to another BobBlast. Yay, another BobBlast. I'm back here in my studio. I just came back from Canada doing an abstract figurative class a whole week. It was fantastic. We had 26 students and these were some of the results we were doing from different kinds of papers. And I thought it would be a good idea to show you the different kinds of results you can get using different kinds of papers. And whether it's wet, dry, pastel, or pencils, let me show you some of the brands that we're using and let's get started. So my favorite all-time go-to paper is this Canson BFK Rives gray paper. It's a printmaker paper, but it's soft, flexible, beautiful gray. What's nice about the gray is you're halfway done. I just have to put the black down. It takes inks really well, washes very well, and pastel at the same time. So these are the kinds of things I like to do there. Also, when I'm just doing a lot of light sketching, where I'm doing a whole lot of, these are like the 2-minute sketches, I'll use the Strathmore Toned Gray. Again, gray. I prefer the gray paper because, as I said before, I'm halfway done. I just have to add my lights and my darks. Here's some more. And also, besides the pencil, it takes beautiful paper watercolor techniques too. So whether it's using acrylics or watercolor techniques, even though this paper is fairly inexpensive, it works great. They come in 2 different sizes. This one happens to be, I don't know, 1114, and the full size 22 by 30. Here's another one that's really great, especially when I'm traveling. This is Fabriano Studio Watercolor Paper. It's hot press, so it takes watercolor beautifully, and it stays flat. These were some of the ones I did at a workshop. I believe it was in Costa Rica. So these are just quick little 3 or 4 or 5 minute sketches, and it holds up and it doesn't wrinkle up. My all-time go-to paper for everything is the Cheap Joe Kilimanjaro 100% pure acid-free cotton. It's 300 pounds. It takes a beating. I mean, it really takes a beating. Let's go over here to the materials. So I love drawing with these Derwent ink tints. They're water-soluble. So I draw on them with a dry brush technique. I also have these blocks. They look like pastels, but they're not pastels. They're incredibly intense. Thus the word ink tense blocks or ink tense pencils. And I use them in a technique where I just draw and then hit it with water, and you get these really crazy, wonderful lines. They're soft. I can bleed it with clean water. I use clean waters. Or if I use a lot of different colors, look at this with the color. Hard edges, soft edges, hit it with water, then you scrumble it around. It's fantastic. Now my drawing materials, of course, would be these willow charcoals. They're wonderful, they're thin, they're sticks, they break easily. I love them. Okay, we have the charcoals, and I'm going to show you how I use these too. They also come in these soft blocks. So anybody makes them, everyone supplies them. Just get the really intense, soft, rich ones, okay? I like the soft ones because you move them around a little bit. And for the liquids on top of these sketches, I'll use either the Holbein acrylic fluids. You've heard me talk about them before. They come in different colors. Here's the black right here. Here's the big, fat, white, jumbo, soft pastels, big ones. You know, I'll have a list of where I get all these things for you in a couple of minutes at the end of this. Now my pencils, just to let you know, I don't use a pencil sharpener. This is my favorite pencil sharpener. I sharpen them this way, back and forth like that. It gives me time to think about what I'm doing while I'm sharpening my pencil. I learned this in art school, so I continue sharpening my pencils with this. And of course, you've heard me talk about this before. How do we finish all this soft pastel so it doesn't come off? You've heard me talk about SpectraFix. It's a casein, which is milk without whey. If it was good enough for the Sistine Chapel ceiling, it's good enough for me. Let's get started. I'm going to show you some of these techniques. So using the willow charcoal sticks, great for sketching, right? And I started right off here, my toned paper. Again, I'm halfway done. Beautiful, nice and soft. There you go. All over the place. You've seen me do this before too, you know. But I thought it'd be good to show it to you again. So I'm halfway done. There's my halfway mark. Here's my darkest darks. Here comes the lightest light. Using the white pastel, blend it just a little bit. A little back in here. Look how easy it is. Voila, I got myself a ball. Oh, gotta put in the shadow down here. There you go, don't forget that shadow. So it's very forgiving, these charcoal sticks. Let me show you something else. And so now the Derwent ink tints. These are the pencils. They're spectacular. Again, I can either draw dry like that. Let's put another color in here just for fun. So there you are doing the whole drawing, right? You can hit it with water. Watch what happens when you hit it with water. Just like a watercolor. And it bleeds like a watercolor too. It's beautiful stuff. Now the blocks, here come the ink tints blocks. These are in those little metal boxes. They're great, aren't they? And so you can do the same thing. Use it as a pastel. Use it as a pastel. Put a little bit of red in here. Let's see what happens. Hit it with water. This is when it turns into magic. And you see the reason why it's called ink tints. They're spectacular. And they bleed and work just like a watercolor. Let me show you some more things. So here we go with the acrylic fluid from Holbein. Some of them are transparent, some of them are opaque. This one happens to be marigold, so that's transparent. This is why I use it and how I use it. Here we are on these wonderful BFK paper. I've already done a light wash, it's dried. Here we are, we just bring some of it out. And without changing it, I can certainly add color to the whole thing. Voila, look at that. Look at that. So that's the advantage of having transparent paints, of course, is that you don't lose what's underneath it. So that's the other thing. Now, how do we finish all this stuff when it's all done? Let me show you how to protect the drawing. And after all that stuff dries, you want to protect it. You don't need to have to put it behind glass. SpectraFix is casein. It works fantastic. It's the only company that makes it here, called Degas SpectraFix. Milk without whey. And then you just sprinkle, spray it all over the place. Don't spray it this way because it'll drip down like a drippy nose. Like that. So what you do, you just spray it like that. And I give my pastels and charcoal drawings maybe about 3 coats. Let it dry in between. It takes about 15 minutes to dry in between coats. But this is how I finish all of my stuff. So what happens with all these drawings? Let me show you. And so what happens is now you put them in nice frames, wide mats, simple frames, and off to the galleries they go. Isn't this fun? Try it. And now for some more important information. And finally, I have a script here because I have so many workshops coming up and I can't remember them. The next one is a 2-day workshop, October 5 and 6 at the Elverhoy Museum in Solvang, California. You know, I have a museum show going on right now, and so they kind of tied it in with a 2-day workshop. I'm really looking forward to that one. A workshop in a museum. Pretty nice, huh? And then the next one is Ocean Springs, Mississippi. That's going to be a 5-day workshop. In November, go to my website, you'll see all the information. And finally, I keep talking about this one. This is great. The Art of the Carolinas in Raleigh, North Carolina. You know, it's sponsored by Jerry's Artorama. November 10 and 13. Those are all the classes that fill up really, really fast. Link from my website and you get all the details. Thanks again so much for watching, and I enjoy doing these. I'll see you on the next BobBlast.